Hey everyone, and welcome to Hooked on Needles and Crafts. Today we're going to be continuing the Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas crochet kit. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much for tuning in. And for my new viewers, please consider subscribing, share, hit that like button, leave a comment below, and click on that notification bell for future videos. So today, you guys, we are coming back to this booklet. This nightmare after Christmas. I do have a few more characters. I thought I only had 2 left. No, I think I have 3 characters left. Today we're going to do the Mayor of Halloween Town. I still have Santa Claus and Santa Jack Skellington left. So I think I did everything else. Anyway, so let's get this started. If you'd like to make any of the characters in this kit, I highly recommend that you get the kit itself. You can find this on Amazon. That's where I got it. These videos are only a supplement to the kit. I cannot show any instructions due to copyright or mention any details due to copyright. What my video does is just teach you how to do new stitches at least 3 times, step by step, how to read the instructions, and if there's any weird stuff that happens that needs a little explanation, and then of course the assembly. If you need to speed up or slow down the video, go ahead and click on the gear button in the button. There's playback options to go fast or slow. If you don't need to hear me talk, you could always lower the volume on your device and click on the CC closed caption button. Alright, so let's get straight into the mayor. I need to make the rest of the characters because I wanted to gift them to my sister. So let's get this done. Alright. Now, this set of instructions is calling for a 2.75 millimeter hook. You have to pay attention to the sizes because I actually noticed later on that the sizes did change from 275 to I think 325, and they only give you 1 hook, which is insane. So you'd probably have to go and get that other hook. I think I just stuck with this one, I can't remember, or I do have other hooks, so I used what I had. But I think in your case you only have the 1 hook, so that's kind of unfortunate. Alright, let's start on the hat. We're going to work with the gray. I'm using my own yarn here, and actually this kit only gives you enough material to make 2 characters, and then you're supposed to just get the rest of the material on your own. So what I did get is my own stuffing. I got a 32 ounce from Amazon, and then of course I have my yarn, so the colors are not going to be exact. You should buy it to the specifications in the booklet, but I'm just using what I have so that I don't have to spend too much money on everything, you know. Alright, so we're going to start the hat off with an adjustable ring. So let me show you how to do that. You want to stick your finger out here and you want to wrap around the yarn 3 times. And you want a little bit of overage so that you can put your middle finger right on there. You can straighten your strands out like this. Now my gauge yarn is pretty thin, so we're probably going to see something very small. And it's definitely not going to fit the other yarn that I have because the gauges are thicker, but it is what it is, because I do have another gray, but it's super thick, and that's just not going to work with me. Alright, so let's continue with this magic ring. We're going to take our hook and slip it underneath the 3 strands like this. We're going to pull it back out, and we're going to pull the strand underneath these 2. So hook that yarn, turn your hook sideways, and slip it under the strands. Then we're going to yarn over, which is putting the yarn over the hook like this. And we're going to slip that through this loop. Then you can let go of your middle finger and you can slip the rings off of your index. Okay. So now we're going to do a single crochet stitch. I'm going to show you how to do that in a magic ring. To hold your magic ring, you want your excess piece on the right, the rings in the middle and then the feeder yarn on the left. We're going to underhand the hook like this. This will alleviate any tension in your hands, making your stitches not so tight. Alright, so what we're going to do is stick your hook into the adjustable ring. And then we're going to yarn over and you're going to pull up a loop. So you have 2 loops. Then we're going to yarn over again and you're going to pull through those 2 loops. So we have our first single crochet stitch. Let's do this again. Stick your hook into the adjustable ring. We're going to yarn over. You're going to pull up a loop. So you have 2 loops. We're going to yarn over again and you're going to pull through those 2 loops and you have 2 single crochet stitches. Let's do this one more time with you guys. Stick your hook into the adjustable ring. We're going to yarn over, you're going to pull up a loop, then we're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through those 2 loops. So now we have 3 single crochet stitches. If we're looking on this at the front, you see that there's a loops in the front and then there's loops in the back. So these are called the front loops, these are called the back loops. When we look at it on top, you can see it looks like a French braid or a braid. So now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to finish the rest of the single crochet stitches. You can go ahead and rewind this part of the video as many times as you need until you're comfortable doing these single crochet stitches on your own. But I'm just going to move forward and do the rest of this on this ring. Alright, so now that we've completed the number of single crochet stitches, I'm going to overhand my hook. We're going to hold the stitches down at the bottom here, let go of your feeder yarn, push it out of the way. You want to hold this not too tight, just gentle enough to keep the project still. We're going to pull on this excess piece here and we're going to watch to see which one of these 2 loops goes inside the magic ring. So I'm just gonna take my middle finger and hold my feeder yarn back so I don't confuse it with anything. But let's pull on this and see which loop goes in first. Once you've identified which loop goes in first, you can stop pulling. Okay. So this loop in here started to move first. We're gonna pull this end out of that loop and we're gonna see the other loop start to disappear. So don't pull it from here, pull it from here. So take that loop, we're going to pull out this end, okay? You're going to watch that other loop start to go in, pull it until it's completely gone, and then we have to get rid of this loop, so pull on the excess piece, and you're going to see the other loop disappear. Oh, I got a little bunched up here. Okay, and then once that side is gone, you might have a little tiny hole. What we're going to do is pull in the opposite direction and a little up. You're going to feel it move just a little bit. You don't have to pull it too hard, but then now that hole should be completely gone. So now we're going to continue on with round 2. But before we do that, we're going to mark the last stitch we made with a stitch marker. I don't remember if this kit came with one, but either way, I highly recommend that you invest in these stitch markers. They definitely help you keep track of your stitch count as well as your round count. So what I'm going to do is take the stitch marker and slip it right underneath those loops, the front and back loops of the last stitch we made. And then if you pull this and you see a nice clear pathway underneath there, it means that you did it right. You don't want to accidentally pierce through the yarn. It's just going to make your project messy and then you might end up crocheting through it, which is not the best idea, because if you ever have to unravel your project, it's going to be hard to unravel. Okay, on top of looking messy. So for round 2, we're going to introduce a new stitch. This is called the increasing stitch. And basically what it is doing 2 single crochet stitches in 1 stitch. So what we're going to do is count from the stitch marker the number of stitches required for round 1. Okay, stick your hook into that last stitch. And it might be difficult just after this first round because we pulled the yarn and everything's all squished together. So you just have to find the front and back loops of that last stitch, stitch from the first round. And I'm using extra skinny yarn, so it's going to be a little harder for me than it is for you, hopefully. Okay. And then, like I said, we're going to do 2 single crochet stitches in this 1 stitch. So yarn over, pull up a loop. Oops. Uh-oh. Right, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Then we're going to stick our hook into the same stitch we just used, and we're going to do 1 more single crochet stitch. So yarn over, pull up a loop, so you have 2 loops, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. So you see we have that single crochet stitch, and then out of it came 2 single crochet stitches. Let's do this again. Stick your hook into the next stitch. Okay, we're gonna do 2 single crochet stitches in here, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Then into that same stitch, put in your hook. We're gonna yarn over, pull up a loop, so you have 2 loops, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. So again, single crochet stitch, we have 2 single crochet stitches coming out of it. One more time with you guys. Stick your hook into the next stitch. We're going to do 2 single crochet stitches, yarn over, pull up a loop, so you have 2 loops, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. Put your hook into that same stitch we just used, yarn over and pull up a loop, so you have 2 loops, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. Alright. So now that I've done this with you guys 3 times, you can rewind this video as many times as you need until you're confident enough to do increasing stitches on your own, but I'm just going to go ahead and complete the rest of the increasing stitches. Alright, so from here what I'm going to do is take this stitch marker and we're going to replace it under the last stitch we made. So you want to slip it right here underneath the front and back loops. You can pull this to make sure that it clears and that you didn't pierce the yarn. And then we're going to do round 3. So for round 3, this one is kind of straightforward, but what we're doing is single crochet stitches using the back loop only. So I did explain the pieces of, or the parts of a single crochet stitch. When we had looked at this front on, you can see the front loops versus the back loops. So when we do single crochet stitches, we're going to be putting them just in these back loops only. So let me show you how to do 3 of those. So into the next stitch, what we're going to do is stick our hook. Let's see here. Stick our hook in between the braid right here. And we're going to stick our hook through the back loop only. So this loop here is the front loop. This loop here is the back loop. We're going to split the yarn in the middle and then put our hook just in the back loop only. So it's around 1 loop here, and then that front loop is left here doing nothing. So we're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So let's do this again. Stick your hook into the back loop only. We're going to go in between this braid and stick it in the back loop only. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Right, so you see here we have 2 front loops that have done nothing. Let's do this one more time. Stick your hook in between the braid of the next stitch. We're going to stick it under the back loop only, like that. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So you have 3 single crochet stitches, or the front loops are left alone. Alright, so now that I've shown you how to do this 3 times, you can go ahead and rewind this video as many times as you need until you're comfortable doing back loops only. I'm just going to go and continue the rest of the single crochet stitches using the back loop only. Alright, now I'm going to take my stitch marker and I am going to place it under the last stitch we made. And let's take a close-up look on what this looks like. So I don't know if you can see it because it's terrible in camera, but there's a spiral here of the front loops only that we just used. So usually when we do back loop only, I think it's because this part is going to end up bending because we are making the hat. So I'm guessing that this part here is the top of the hat. And when we do back loop only, there's a natural bend that happens after you finish it. So I think it's starting to bend this way to make the rest of the top hat. Alright, so let's do round 4. So now for round 4, we're introducing a new stitch. Wow, we're learning a lot of stitches in this one. So we're going to be learning the invisible decreasing stitch. On top of that, this is a new set of instruction and it looks different and a lot longer. We have a parenthesis with a set of instructions inside, and it tells you how to do it a number of times, and at the end of the instruction there's another set of parentheses with a number inside, which is pretty much just telling you how many stitches you should end up with at the end. So as long as you're done with each round and you count your stitches and they match the same number as the booklet, you should be okay. So, but let's focus on the first set of parentheses, and we've got invisible decreasing stitches and single crochet stitches. So let's do an invisible decreasing stitch. So unlike an increasing stitch, a decreasing stitch is taking 2 single crochet stitches and turning them into 1. So let's go into our next stitch. We're going to stick our hook into the next stitch. Now we can use, let's see, does it say back loop only? No, so we're back to doing front and back loops. So stick your hook in the front and back loops, just under the braid basically, and we're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. Then we're going to go into the next stitch, front and back loops, just under the braid. We're going to yarn over and pull up another loop. So now you should have 3 loops on your hook. So now we're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through all 3 loops. So if you saw, we took 2 single crochet stitches and made 1 stitch out of it. So now what we're going to do is move on to the single crochet stitches. So go ahead and do those. And we pretty much learned how to do those, so I don't have to walk you through them. Alright, and then we have to repeat the parenthesis according to the instructions. So let's do another invisible decreasing stitch. Stick your hook into the next stitch. We're going to yarn over, you're going to pull up a loop. Then stick your hook into the next stitch. We're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through another loop. So now you have 3 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through all 3 loops. Alright, so now from here we're going to do single crochet stitches again. So let's go and do that now. Alright, so now I'm going to take the stitch marker and we're going to put it under the last stitch we made, just under the braid. Pull this to make sure that you clear the yarn. Alright, then we're going to move to round 5. So it actually seems that from round 5 to round 7, we're doing the same setup where we have the first set of parentheses. We're going to be doing invisible decreasing stitches with single crochet stitches. We're repeating this number of times, and then again after every round just count your stitches to make sure that you have the right number of stitches. So I'm just going to complete rounds 5 through 7 in silence, and then we're going to pop back in for round 8 and I'll let you know what you have to do next. All right. So now we are at round 8. And this one is a long one. It's round 8 through 21, and it's pretty much single crochet stitches. So we're going to be here for a minute. When I talk about investing in these stitch markers, this is the best time to have these because we can just count our stitch markers rather than keep track of what round we're on. So if this is round 8, I can just get more of these. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and I have a baggie with more, so let me just get that real quick. Here's my baggie. 18, 19, 20, and 21. So again, it's a good idea to get a bunch of these. You can they sell them in packs online or at a hobby store. And I'm just going to count this one more time. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. All right, so we're doing single crochet stitches for every one of these rounds, and I don't have to keep track of the count. I just got to make sure that I use up all of these stitch markers, and then we can move back in to round 26. So I'll be doing this in silence. Alright, so I completed all those rounds, and we're going to be doing rounds 22 through 25. So again, 22, 23, 24, 25. And what we're going to be doing is a little interesting. So for each round from 22 to 25, we're going to be doing an increasing stitch and then single crochet stitches to complete the round. So for example, let's do our increasing stitch. And then we're going to complete the round with our single crochet stitches. So the one thing I don't like about this part of the instructions is that you have to wait till the very end, or you can do the math in your head per round, but you pretty much have to wait till the end to see if you have the right stitch count. And I'm starting to remember that these Nightmare Before Christmas instructions love to have you working in super tiny rounds. So not a fan. All right, we've completed a round. So you either can do the math, which I have not been doing since I'm talking at the same time, or we can wait till round 25. It tells you how many stitches there is going to be at the end of round 25. But now we're doing round 23, and we're going to be doing our increasing stitch in the very beginning. And then we're going to be doing single crochet stitches thereafter. So you're pretty much increasing one stitch after every round. So I'm actually going to continue doing this in silence, and then we're going to hop back in to round 26. All right, so now we're going to do round 26, and we're going to be doing increasing stitches in the front loop only. So we talked about back loop only making a bend. Front loop only is going to do the same thing. So I think now we're going to be making the brim of the mayor's hat. So let me show you how to do that. So like I said before, we have our front loops only right here, and then our back loops only right there. So what we're going to do is, in the next stitch, we're going to come up from under, and we're going to come up through the front loop only. We're going to split that braid, and we're leaving the back loop right here untouched. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Right, again, come up from underneath through the front loop only, leave the back loop there by itself, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. One more time, start from underneath, push through between the braid, front loop only, leave the back loop behind, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So when you look at it in the front, it looks like nothing really. If you look at it from the back, you're going to see this little row of back loops that weren't used. Okay, so let's continue doing this. You can rewind this part of the video as many times as you need until you're comfortable doing the front loop only by yourself. And I'm realizing that we were supposed to do increasing stitches. Okay. Now I get to show you how to do this 3 more times. Apologies. Okay. Well, at least you get to learn how to do it 3 more times. I just pulled apart those 3 stitches, so that's why it's always good to make sure you make nice, clean insertions with the hook, that you don't split the yarn so that you can easily undo it. So in this front loop only, we're doing 2 single crochet stitches because we are doing increasing stitches, and you're probably telling me that as we're working along. So click that like button if you did. Alright, so we're going to do 1 single crochet stitch, and then we're going to do another single crochet stitch. So in this front loop, it's going to look crazy, but don't worry, as we do the round, it's going to tighten up. But we have 2 single crochet stitches coming out of this front loop only. So again, come from underneath, front loop only, split that braid. We're going to do 2 single crochet stitches in here. 1 and 2. And you want to be more delicate when you do front loops only or back loops only, because you're working with 1 loop and you really don't want to stretch it any more than it already is. So just be mindful of that. One more, you guys. Come up from underneath, split that braid. We're going to do 2 single crochet stitches in here. 1 and 2. Alright, so you can see now that there's actually a fold. It's folding downward, and then you can see that there's that line of back loops only. Alright, again, repeat this as many times as you need so you're used to doing front loop only, but I'm just going to go around and I'm going to finish doing my increasing stitches all the way around. All right, remove the marker, put it under the last stitch we made. Okay. So now we're going to do round 27. We're going to be working with both loops now. We have a parenthesis doing increasing stitches and single crochet stitches. So I'm going to do that now. And we have to repeat it the number of times that it tells us to. Right. All right. Take your stitch marker, slip it under the last stitch you made, and then just make sure that you're not splitting the yarn. Okay. And then we're going to do round 28. So this is so flimsy. All right, so for round 28, we are doing single crochet stitches, and then we have to fasten this off and tuck in the ends. So I'm going to show you how to fasten off after we do all this. All right. So I've completed round 28. We're pretty much done with the hat. Let's remove this marker. And I'm going to show you how to fasten off. So we're going to cut about 1 inch or so. Okay. And just cut it off. Well, what you need to do is we're going to yarn over and we're going to pull this strand through the loop. And then we're going to pull it all the way out. And then just pull on this to make that loop into a knot. And then what we're going to do is we're going to, I'm just sticking this through the next stitch, yarn over and pull all the way out. Oh, sorry. By the way, I am a lefty, so I just do righties for the majority of the viewers out there. And I forget sometimes. Okay, so I'm just going to weave this in and out of the project. So I just went in and out of the rows. I'm going to yarn over with this excess piece and I'm going to pull it through all those rows. So I at least get it towards the center, and then I can poke through the center to tuck in that tail, and then that's pretty much it. I find it interesting that they don't need you to fill the mayor's hat, because I feel like, depending on the yarn you're using, I feel like it's kind of flimsy. Somehow I managed to stand that up. All right. So we're going to move on to the head and body. Let me just see what time we're at so I know how far I can go in this part 1 video. All right, so we also have a little issue, at least I do. So I have white because I ran out of white, but the gauge is huge. Gauge is 4. And then I have the peach for his other side of the face, which is gauged. No way, they're not the same gauge. Anyway, it says it's the same, but look at it, it's different. All right, so we're going to be working with both of these. Okay. So before we start, let's just get this set up. I'm going to put this gray aside for now. And I'm going to show you how to cast on with the slip knot for both the peach and the white. So take your ring, pinky, and thumb and hold one end. Take your index and middle and hold the other. We're going to take our hook and lay it perpendicular to the yarn. We're going to go down, out, and around to create this loop around our hook. We're able to slide the hook up and down. So let's slide this down towards our thumb. Take your middle finger and just hold it where it crosses so that we can get some feeder yarn with our left hand. And then we're going to re-pinch the end as low as you can go without losing the end there. And we're going to also slide our hook closer to our thumb, and we're going to pinch where it crosses so we can no longer slide our hook up or down. Then we're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull this through the loop. And then we're going to overhand our hook, re-pinch our end, and we're going to push this knot towards our thumb. So keep pushing that knot until you can no longer push it. And then we're going to take our thumb and middle finger and just pull that little excess piece to make that knot a little tighter. This is so that we waste only this much of yarn. Okay. Take your knot, slide it closer to your hook, but you want to leave space so that we can slide this off and set it aside. So let's do this one more time with the white yarn. So take your ring, pinky, and thumb and hold one end. Take your index and middle and hold the other. We're going to take our hook and lay it perpendicular to the yarn. Then we're going to go down, out, and around to create this loop around our hook. We can slide our hook up and down. Slide your hook down towards your thumb. Take your middle finger and hold it where it crosses. Then let go of the yarn so that you can get some feeder wrapped around your finger. Re-pinch the end as low as you can go without losing it. And then slide your hook down towards your thumb pinch it where it crosses, and then we're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull this through the loop, and then overhand the hook, repinch the end, and push the knot towards the thumb. And when you get to that point, you can take your thumb and middle finger and just pull out that excess piece, make that knot just a little tighter, and then slide the knot towards your hook, leaving some space so that we can remove the loop off our hook. So in our instructions, we are starting with the peach. So pick up the peach, slip it on here. Right, what we're going to be doing is working single crochet stitches. Okay, so if you've seen The Nightmare Before Christmas, or if you look at the photos in this section, one side of his face is a normal peach color, the other side of his face is a white pale color. So this is just going to be the section that I'm actually not looking forward to this, but we're going to do it. So we're going to pick, we have to keep our hat upside down. So you want the top hat facing downward. Okay, we're going to stick our hook into any one of these back loops that we didn't use. Okay, so I'm actually going to stick my stitch marker and pick a random spot for what would be the last stitch of this round. Okay, so now what we're going to do is they tell you to make so many single crochet stitches in the pale peach. So we're going to go into the next back loop only right here, and we're going to do our first single crochet stitch. So stick your hook into the next stitch from that stitch marker. We're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull up a loop so that we have 2 loops. Then we're going to yarn over, and we're going to pull through those 2 loops. So we have our first single crochet stitch. Let's go into the next stitch. Again, we're working these back loop onlys. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And again, be very delicate around the single loops. You don't want to accidentally rip them. Let's do one more, you guys. So stick your hook into the next back loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through those 2 loops. Alright, so we're pretty much doing half and half. We're going to do half in peach, half in white. I'm going to come back in on the last stitch before changing to white, so I can show you how to make a nice easy transition. So let's do that now. Okay, this is actually the last one. Let's undo that. This is the last single crochet stitch before the white. Stick your hook into the next stitch here. Okay, back loop only. Yarn over, pull up a loop. So you have 2 loops. We're going to put this aside so you can hold it back with your ring and pinky finger. Pick up the white, slip that onto your hook, and then we're going to pull this loop through these 2 to transition to the white so that it's nice and clean. Okay, so then we're going to complete the rest of the single crochet stitches using the back loop only. Make sure you don't split the yarn. And of course, with my yarn that I'm using, comment below if you're using what they ask you to use, or if you're using your own yarn. But yeah, mine's gonna look a little weird because the white is so much thicker than the peach. I forgot we had to use the white. I'm gonna have to get like a different gauge of white. Okay. Oh, let us hold off the last single crochet stitch in that stitch marker because we're gonna have to transition back to peach probably. So yes, let's set aside the white for now. We're gonna pick up this peach. Now the thing is, this doesn't require stuffing, so it's okay if we drag this straight across, but normally I would feel more comfortable in taking this peach and making it go the perimeter. In fact, you know what, I'm just gonna do that. You want your peach and your white to line the perimeter of your face, so that when we do our first stitch back to the peach, we're not pulling the yarn across the head space there. This is going to prevent dimpling in your project, because if you just pull it straight across, you might accidentally pull it too much and then you're going to have an indentation. So we're going to start our first, okay, so we're going to start off our single crochet stitch. Stick your hook into the last stitch for this round. We're going to yarn over with the white, which I didn't plan for there. All right, then we have 2 loops of the white on our hook like we did before. Now we're going to yarn over with the peach and pull through both loops, making that clean transition to the peach. All right. So now we're going to do round 2. Let's replace this stitch marker just under the last stitch we made with the white. All right. Okay. So for round 2, we have, with the peach, we're going to do some increasing stitches and single crochet stitches, and we're repeating the same thing basically with the white. So let's keep all of that in mind. And we're now using front and back loops, so we don't have to do anything crazy here, which is going to make a stronger stitch. I hate working with one loops. I never feel comfortable doing that. So and then again, you're going to want to stop 1 single crochet stitch before you finish that color section, because we do have to transition back to the white. So let's start our last single crochet stitch with the peach. We're going to set aside the peach with our ring and pinky, and then pick up the white. So here we're coming from the other side, you see. So I'm just going to run the perimeter, and I'm going to yarn over and pull that through both of those loops of peach to transition to the white. All right, so now we're going to repeat the same increasing stitches and single crochet stitches for this round in white. All right, and then before we finish the last single crochet stitch, because we're going back to peach, gotta get this peach ready. Let's start the last single crochet stitch with the white, set it aside. Let's trail the peach around the perimeter, and then we're going to yarn over with that peach and pull through the 2 white loops, and we're transitioned. We're going to replace our stitch marker under the last stitch we made, and then we're going to do round 3 with the pale peach, and it looks like we're now doing single crochet stitches with increasing stitches for both peach and white. Okay, and before we finish the last increasing stitch here, we're gonna remember we have to transition to white. So let's do our increasing stitch. We're going to start the second single crochet stitch for our increasing stitch, but set aside our peach. Let's see, tangled here. We're going to pick up the white, run it around the perimeter, and then we're going to yarn over with the white and pull through both loops of the peach. And now we're going to repeat the same instruction in white. Okay, and then before we finish our last increasing stitch, we just have to remember that we're transitioning back to peach. So do your first single crochet stitch in white, start the second single crochet stitch in white, and then let's finish off with peach. Make sure it lines the perimeter of the face. Okay, yarn over. And we're pulling through the white loops and replacing our stitch marker under the last stitch we made. Okay. All right, so now we're going to do round 4. So round 4, we're this time doing increasing stitches with single crochet stitches in both the peach and the white. So let's do that now. Okay, before we finish the last single crochet stitch, we're going to start it with the peach, then we're going to pick up the white, run it around the perimeter, then yarn over and pull through both loops. Then we're going to repeat the instruction with the white. Oh, let me turn the page first before I do the last single crochet stitch. Oops. Alright, so we are transitioning to the peach. So let's start with the white. Set it aside and then finish with the peach. I'm going to run the perimeter of the face. Yarn over and pull through both white loops. And then I'm going to replace the stitch marker under the last stitch we made. Okay. Alright, and then we're going to do round 5. So with round 5, we are doing single. Okay, so you know what? Actually, rounds 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 are pretty much the same. So I'm going to hop back in at the end of round 10 because we have to fasten off. But just keep doing this back and forth thing. Okay. Alright, so I actually almost forgot that we are fastening off the peach, which is kind of silly because they shouldn't have had us do this. Like, they should have had us fasten off back there. So I think I'm going to fasten that off. Let me remove this. Let me just do this last white piece. We're not transitioning back to the peach. Looks like we're going to be doing the shirt now. So let's do that. And then when we come back around, I'll fasten off the peach. Okay, just get untangled here. Alright, so with the white, we're going to be doing a set of parentheses. 40, alright, I realized that, this has us fastening off the peach when it's already on this side. We should have fastened it off back here, but we're just going to do that when I come back around. We're going to do round 11 right now, which is with the white, and we're going to be doing a set of parentheses, which is single crochet stitches and increasing stitches. Okay, so let's do that now. Okay. So since we're here, we're going to fasten off the white and the peach. So I'm just going to go in here and cut about 1 inch or so on both. And we're just going to tie these two together, double knot it. And then you can just tuck it down here. I guess we're supposed to fasten off. Alright, well, you can take your white yarn over and pull it through the loop all the way out. Right, and then just tie it back down to this peach and double knot again. Yeah, just going a little nuts here. Alright, so now we have to do our, some wire. Okay, so let me go grab that. Okay, so I have, because of this book, I got this thing of wire. It tells you what gauge you need. I don't remember what that gauge is, but I'm just gonna use this now to, I'm gonna have to cut this, be right back. Alright, so we have to get a certain amount of length here. So let me take my, alright, get a ruler, cut the measurement, and then we'll come back in and put this in there. Alright, so I have that here. We have to stick this at the tip of the hat. If it's possible to, if you have a plier, which I don't have to bend this so that the end, the tip is not exposed like that, because it could end up scratching whoever you're giving this to. So I'm just going to fold over the tip like that, and then we're going to stick this in there, and then it'll be halfway through. I guess we'll end up dealing with this when we put stuffing. You know what? Let's also bend this end here as well. Go. Put that in there. All right. So after that, we're going to be attaching the gray. Let me just check to see where we are with our time. Try to keep these videos under 2 hours. All right, so yeah, we pretty much, it took us 2 hours just to make this. But this is what it's looking like right now. You can tell the difference in thickness of the yarn because this side is skinnier, this side's thicker. But I like how it's starting to look like him. And this one is the skinniest, so the hat's pretty flimsy. I'm hoping that when we stuff this, that it ends up looking not so flimsy. When we come back, we're going to do round 12 of the head. And we're going to continue on to the body. I'm looking at a lot of rounds. So part 2 might just be doing the whole body, and that's about it. And then we'll be able to work the face. I'm feeling like we need to do the face next time. Just because the further we build the body, the harder it is to kind of get in there. So I actually might come in part 2 and start doing the face already. So check that out. But okay, you guys, so we are going to be doing The Nightmare Before Christmas. I know it's after Christmas, but we're going to finish this up. Apparently I have 3 characters, and I have to decide whether or not I'm going to do the Santa Jack, because there's Santa and the mayor that I also have to do. On top of that, I am going to be doing the Stitch from Five Below, and then we're going to go back to Itty Bitty Knit Kits. So hopefully I can get this stuff done before the new year. So we can start fresh, and I can go continue on some. I have some Dollar Tree kits and some Annie's kits that I want to get back into. At any rate, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Hooked on Needles and Crafts. Please share, like, and subscribe for future videos, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks. Bye.